masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game.
Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man, it's Thursday. It's Thursday, December 21st, 355 days into the new year. Just 10 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California, and I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? Thursday night, Fadernight, open lines all night long. We've got Jon Rappoport here and his No More Fake Newsroom Live, followed by open lines all night long, 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. You can follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's easy. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Any questions or comments during the show tonight? Hashtag F2BQ. Already up in now in Fade to Black questions. First question in tonight. I'm gonna hand this over to you Fadernauts out there. This is from Eddie in Pennsylvania. He says, did anyone else hear some news about some kind of boom in Las Vegas? I haven't gotten anything on that yet. Got a lot of listeners in Las Vegas. So was there some kind of boom? Wow, when did this happen? Minutes ago? Today? Last night? I'd like to know. Okay, that's pretty interesting. And, of course, you can call in tonight with any news on that. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Don't forget to subscribe on Facebook, or like on Facebook, and subscribe over on YouTube. Okay. Everything to do that is over at jimmychurchradio.com. You can also email throughout the show, jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. And I'm going to get through all of this stuff really quick tonight because I want to, get to Rappoport, but there's a lot to talk about. This has been a crazy week. Our next event will be the Conscious Life Expo. It's coming up February 9th through the 12th. I cannot believe it. It's 6 weeks away. 9th through the 12th, 2018 at the LAX Hilton. Tickets and info are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Just click on the banner. It'll take you straight to the Conscious Life Expo. We will have streaming information and some other stuff up for everybody throughout the weekend. You can subscribe to our podcast where we have today is our 777th show. Tonight is 777. So when you subscribe to our podcast as of today, we have 776 shows up there that are archived. Custom apps, Apple, Android, all platforms, just $2 a month. All right, so the show's loaded up every single day. You miss the live show. You can't do it. There you go. You've got your app in the morning, driving to work. You get to listen to Fade to Black. And also, it helps support the show. It's just $2 a month. You can also become a Fadernaut over in our membership section, and that is also simple, too. And, you get the bunker cam, commercial-free downloadable archives. You can get yourself some Fade to Black gear, get the Game Changer, autographed shirts, hats, all that stuff, okay? And that is over on our website. Don't forget all of our sponsors here. Life Change Tea, getthetea.com. Now, Life Change Tea, I'm going to tell you right now, Rita just got back from New York, and she says, I almost got a cold. It started to come on, but I started taking the Allison, and I was like, there you go, right? So that's what she was doing in New York, and so I immediately, I take the Coral C every single day, and I doubled up on the Coral C immediately, and I am still cold-free. Also, don't forget Ancient Life Oils. I just got their new, this is the 1,000 milligram CBD right here, and it's cinnamon-flavored. Cinnamon-flavored 1,000 milligram CBD. That is the most powerful CBD in the country. And also, I'm doing all of this in the bunker cam, just having some fun. There's my foundation drops that I take from New Pharma, and I take those every single day. And, of course, I take the moringa, and I take the olive leaf. All of this stuff is right in front of me, and I just take it all day long. G.I. Joy. Man, I love that stuff right there. So there you go. And I've also got, of course, Dan Aykroyd's Skull Vodka, here in the studio, just in case. All right, all of our sponsors. New Manna. 25-year shelf life emergency food, GMO-free, no MSG. It's right there. It tastes great, tastes amazing. I've tested all of it, and there you go. You will always be prepared. New Manna. Spend $100. That's all you have to do, and you're going to get an autographed Fade to Black shirt, right? That's a $27 value right there if you think about it. Okay, so New Manna. It is absolutely the best. And Bearing Optics. Did you get yourself some night vision for Christmas? Bearing Optics. All you have to do is click on the Bearing Optic banner right there. When you call Bearing Optics, and you're going to speak to Alec Hoffman over there, the number's right there on the website. He's the best, and he's a Fadernaut, and you're going to get a discount, and you're going to get the best night vision out there. Deb from, one of the Fadernauts out there, Deb sent us, I know she's listening right now, she sent us a really cool Christmas gift, and opened it up today, and it was a set of Christmas ornaments, and guess what they were? Green chrome balls. That's right. I love the Fadernauts. You guys are the best. One of the most thoughtful gifts. And she made these herself, and they're really, really cool. But anyway, and I just started thinking of Bearing Optics right there. How cool is that? And we have our very own green chrome balls for our Christmas tree this year. It is the holiday weekend, everybody. I do want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, as strange as that sounds. I'll stick with Merry Christmas. And today we, started planning out things. And, Christmas is such an important day. And I've got work tonight. I've got to be over at Coast tomorrow, Coast Saturday. Then Christmas Eve is Sunday. And then Christmas Day. And it's been so busy around here. I just had to step back and go, wow. It's Christmas weekend, and Rita was gone for a week with Deanna, and I just kind of lost track of time, but this is Christmas weekend. So after tonight's show, I'm not going to see you guys until Tuesday. So everybody just have a great, fun, Merry Christmas, and do it the way that you want. However it is, just go and just have a great holiday weekend, okay? And if you find the time, spend some of it over with me over on Coast to Coast. Tomorrow night, my guest is Chance Gardner, and Saturday is David Icke and David Wilcock on the same show on Coast to Coast. That is a big evening on Saturday night. Right, the Christmas Eve show over on Coast to Coast. Okay, all right, let's get the show cracking. Happy birthday to today, Samuel L. Jackson is 69. I so want to do a Samuel L. Jackson quote. I'm just going to let it go. 69 years old. Kiefer Sutherland today is 51, and our dead guy's birthday today. Do it every year. Frank Zappa, 1940 to 1993, died at the tender young age of 52. And his albums that definitely had something to do with my head. And I just, I'm just thinking, what were the greats, And for me, I kind of steer off of the normal Frank Zappa that everybody loves. For me, Tinseltown Rebellion, amazing album. Chic Your Booty changed my life. Man, I was a kid. Chic Your Booty. And it was just the production. It was just so amazing. And Joe's Garage. And as great as all of those are, for me, One Size Fits All. That album, Evelyn, a Modified Dog. That album is incredible. And Frank Zappa, I've gone back. There's a documentary that came out a couple of years ago that chronicles Frank's quotes over the years, going back to the late 60s and all the way up through his death and out there in the media. And Frank and his comments about the mainstream media and the military-industrial complex and corporations and money and commercials on TV and big pharma, how all of this is instrumental in our lives today and we don't know it and we ignore it. And he was making these comments in 1980, way before fake news, and he was just way ahead of the game. And he really shaped my head. His song lyrics and the way that he proposed these ideas about corporations and television and the military and government and made fun of it and poked fun of it. But you go and you read these very, very intelligent lyrics, and especially for me, because I was a young kid. We're talking about the mid 70s, and I'm 14, 15, 16 years old, and these were definitely instrumental in my thinking and my outlook on life. And so there you go. I just want to say happy birthday, Frank Zappa. I miss you. I was lucky enough to see him live twice at Indiana University in Bloomington, and that was probably 1982. I've never even heard of Steve Vai, and Steve Vai was his guitar player. That blew my mind. But at least I got to see him before he passed. So there you go. Happy birthday, Frank Zappa. And and I'm looking here, and I see, Zappa. And I never had any friends that were into Frank Zappa. I didn't. It was really, I had a couple, but it wasn't like we would sit around, we would sit around and talk about Jimmy Page. We would sit around and talk about Led Zeppelin or whatever. But I didn't sit around with my friends and talk about Frank Zappa albums. Just didn't do it. Frank Zappa was my own little secret, and it was just kind of weird. And now as an adult, it's amazing to me how many people appreciate Frank Zappa today and have their favorite albums and stuff. So there you go. Very influential guy. On this day in history, 1988, Pan Am Flight 103 explodes over Scotland. Fader fact. Are you ready for this one? I've talked about this before, way before Obamacare. In 1980, 4.5 out of 5 employees in the United States got health insurance through their jobs. Today, it's under half. Think about that. It ain't that kind of party anymore, is it? and it has nothing to do with Obamacare. This goes way back to Reagan. All right. Tonight's Fadernight and the No More Fake Newsroom Live with Jon Rappoport. He'll be here in a few short minutes. The call-in numbers are 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Now, here we are. Today is Thursday, so we have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We are 6 days into disclosure. And I have a bunch of questions here, as everybody does. Why do we have disclosure now? We have been asking for disclosure inside of the UFO community forever. We've never had the mainstream media grab it like it has. It has not gone away now. It's been in the mainstream media every single day, on television, on all the news, all the websites, everywhere around the world, every single day for 6 straight days. And in communication with, the pilot, Dave Fravor, and Luis Elizondo, and trying to... they're going to be doing Fade to Black, and they're going to be doing Coast to Coast, and that's great. But couldn't get it done this week because they were out there, and it's continuing on mainstream all the way through to tomorrow night. Now and my point with that, and now even though I'm frustrated a little bit, it's that the alternative community, alternative radio, has embraced all of this, and that was the only outlet for these people to go and speak on. And now today, we're getting crumbs, and so I'm a little frustrated. But then again, I have to step back and say to myself, this is what I've wanted. This is what everybody has wanted. So I would rather have it run its course on mainstream, maybe even stay out there for a while. And then we'll pick up the slack when mainstream media decides that there's no more story here, or until the next story breaks, or until the Pentagon releases another video. Now, I don't want anybody to misunderstand what I'm saying. And also, this video... which was released by the Pentagon. It wasn't leaked. It was released. It's authenticated. For those out there in the alternative community that say that this is a fake video, or it's coming from the government, it can't be trusted, or it's actually a plane, or it's really this, or it's actually a drone, have not. They're trying to get clicks, by the way. That's all they want to do. They want to get clicks on their video. They want to get clicks on their website. They want to get likes on Facebook. They want to get retweets by saying that this video was bogus. The video is not bogus, and I will stand by that. I'm not going to eat crow later. The video is real. Dave Fravor, the pilot that whose voice you can hear on this and whose plane shot the video, is somebody that is a 17-year veteran of the military, has had a stellar record, knows what he is seeing, and has done some very, very cool things in the past, and he's very, very respected in the pilot world. So and that's an exclusive community out there. And these guys hang out and talk, and they support each other, and after they leave the military, they've got these groups, and they hang out, and they do their thing. Way, way under the radar, no pun intended. Now, for Dave Fravor to say that this was the size of an airplane and it's a white pill-shaped tic-tac object right off of the surface of the ocean, and I'm circling around it, and then it starts circling with me, and then I cut across, and as I'm heading towards it, boom, in 2 seconds, it's out of the field of view. It is gone. 2 seconds. Now, don't tell me that this is something of ours that we didn't know about, right? Some drone. It clearly is not. It's not Russian. It's not Chinese. And so what is it? Now, obviously, we have to start looking just like Washington or anybody else. Anybody. We have to go, well, what is it? It can only be, the answers are up there. So that's where we are today. Will the Pentagon release another video? Because that's the only way, that's the only direction that this can go in right now. There are reports out there about what is really in these warehouses out in Las Vegas. Nobody knows anything. To say that they do know, they don't. They can have all the insight. No. And until the tests come out and we see this and the physical stuff is out there and we can actually see it, we can look at it and then talk about it, then we know. But it is amazing to me in going 6 days in that, really? So John Lear went on Facebook today claiming that he had a TV interview in which he points out the Tic Tac UFO footage is a hoax. See, now, anyway, I don't have problems with everybody having opinions. Okay, I don't have a problem with. To say that you know something, right? That you know, and that this isn't what it is, that can't be a trusted point of view. But to me, this is just me. The trusted point of view, the one where I'm cool with, so where somebody says, "Wow, that's an interesting video. Been waiting for this in the mainstream media for a while. We've never had UFO coverage, and now we've got it. That's cool, but why? And let's take a look at this video. Let's see if we can figure this out. Let's talk to the pilot. Let's try to get some answers. Let's get some answers out of the Pentagon. Let's keep the pressure on, and let's find out why they want to release this footage. Why are they bringing it into the public now? Is there more? Is there more than they're leading on to? What are they sitting on? And let's try to figure this out, because I'm not comfortable with what is happening right now. That's okay. That is an honest, skeptical way to look at it. That's the way I'm looking at it. And that's what I trust. But to come out and say these things for clicks, right? Producing these videos for clicks. Oh, man. Unbelievable. But it has been a great 6 days. I have not had these thoughts that have been constant in my head. I've never had these kind of thoughts. I'm driving around in my car and I'm listening to the radio and it's on talk radio. And I'm just like, this is crazy. This is a crazy situation that we find ourselves in. Never. Orion just said 18 years in the Navy. Well, you had 18 years in the Navy? That's interesting. Or are you talking about Dave? Dave Fravor has been saying 17 years as a pilot, maybe 18 years in the Navy, but I don't understand the tweet. But that's where we are. I cannot believe these exciting times. I said it last night. I said it the day before. We can't go backwards now, right? We can't erase. We can't go backwards. So what is going to happen in the days ahead? These are exciting times. I mean, I can't even believe that I'm sitting here on this show talking about disclosure has happened, right? This is nuts. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back with Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom live. Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. I'll be right back with the one and only Jon Rappoport. Stay right there.
listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Natural Health Solutions with Chris and Ronnie.
Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?
Great, Chris.
Now, you're the CEO of GetTheTea.com, right?
Yes, I am.
What is GetTheTea.com? I mean, is this tea you buy in a store?
Well, no, it's not. Life Change Tea is just that, life-changing. Life Change Tea is an herbal tea that gently cleanses your body from intruders.
What do you mean by intruders?
Well, intruders are toxins, chemicals, GMOs, heavy metals, and more. They're in our food, in our water, in our air we breathe.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
And Life Change Tea will help you with removing these, as you say, intruders?
That's right, Chris.
Are there side effects with this tea?
Well, you might lose a little weight. When you clean your colon, you lose weight, you feel better, and you have more energy.
Wow. Ronnie, where can people purchase Life Change Tea?
Oh, that's easy. GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
Ronnie, I want to thank you for being on the show. People, don't forget, GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA. The Planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at KGRAradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. KGRAradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
And now, coming to you from the No More Fake News room in deep space, which is the space that we suspect to be true, that the world as it is fed to us every day by the Ministry of Truth is a lie, a false reality, a movie projected on the screen of our subconscious. This, however, is the breakout. All the screens crash, they all go down, and we see the light of day, a new day. No more robots, no more androids. It's the No More Fake Newsroom with Jon Rappoport. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Jimmy. Hello, everybody. Major news week this week on many fronts, but I decided, okay, let's delve into this whole UFO revelation thing and see what we can talk about. What can we infer here? Because this is an entirely new gambit in the UFO disclosure game, as I will detail in a moment. We know that Tom DeLonge is currently working with a former Pentagon official, Luis Elizondo, and that they have formed, or DeLonge has formed, To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science. We found this out weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago. But now, all of a sudden, bang, the mainstream press, the New York Times and other news outlets, Fox and so forth, The Independent in England, many press outlets from the mainstream are reporting UFO disclosure out of the blue. And we find out that DeLong's partner, Elizondo, headed up a super secret $22 million Department of Defense UFO research group from 2007 to 2012 called the Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program. And we're told, again, mainstream, that this program has metal pieces from a UFO they've been studying, and they just don't know what they're made of. They haven't been able to break it down and analyze it, which suggests that this material is not from this planet. Suggests, okay? Also, mainstream, 2004 Department of Defense jackpot video purporting to show a U.S. fighter jet off the coast of San Diego encountering a UFO. We've got video. You've probably seen it. The UFO hovers in place, wiggles, dances around, and suddenly zooms away at a shocking velocity and with a degree of acceleration which strongly suggests that no humanoid body would be able to handle that acceleration. We have statements from at least one of the pilots from 2004. He's talked to the New York Times. He's talked to Tucker Carlson on Fox. The object was about 40 feet long, had no plumes, wings, or rotors, outpaced their F-18s, etc., etc. So after years, decades of the Pentagon and the CIA saying, we don't have any information, we don't know anything, we have no comment, whatever, and then all of a sudden, yes, we do. Hi, everybody. Yes, we do. And here it is. It's all for you right now, right at this moment. Now, keep in mind that you, this audience, the Fade to Black audience, is not representative of the general public, okay? Really get that. Because I'd like to point out something. Let's suppose that this Pentagon release is a test to gauge public reaction to revelations bordering on there is life elsewhere in the universe and a few of them showed up here, right? So far, with the general public, the result of the test appears to be, are we having the beef stew again tonight? Which is very interesting. People aren't crowding into the streets. There are no parades. Presidents of countries aren't holding major press conferences. Why not? What's happening here, you see? Because you would think, well, if you had been reading predictions of what the public was going to do when they found out that there was life elsewhere in the universe, or we have been visited and so forth, there would be an enormous reaction. So far, not the case. Not the case at all. We also have discovered that this secret Pentagon program was put into effect through the work of former Nevada Senator Harry Reid. He and a couple of his Senate pals managed to divert a little chunk of black budget Pentagon money to set it up. Wow. Reaction from the general public? A few yawns. quite amazing. The hypnotic level of the public is so far below the implications of these releases that they don't really respond with any kind of uproar. Amazing. I would say quite amazing. And then, of course, there are many people who are so cynical they don't believe anything the government is telling them. Now, here's an odd fact which you could call a clue. The Pentagon claims that they shut down this super secret UFO research program in 2012 because, well, other priorities were more important. Really? They captured a UFO on film, doing things in space no craft on Earth can do. And they have pieces of metal from a UFO. How did they acquire those? Which they can analyze and are most likely not from this Earth. And yet they shut down the program because they say it's really inconsequential? Please. So either the program is still operating or, hey, they're actually pulling our leg and they're releasing fake information that isn't true at all. Now, I want to point this out. One of the point men for spreading the current UFO stories is Ralph Blumenthal of the New York Times. And he has made not only I believe was a co-author of a New York Times report, but he's been talking to other media outlets like The Independent. I think he spoke with MSNBC as well. So he is occupying a role not only as a writer for the New York Times, but also as a kind of publicist, you might say, for the story. Well, it turns out that I have just a tiny bit of personal experience with Mr. Blumenthal, because in 1993, he wrote a quite shocking story for the New York Times about the first bombing attack on the Twin Towers in New York, which occurred in an underground parking lot in 1993. And that story focused on an FBI asset and informant, Imad Salem, who asserted that he had been instrumental in putting together the bombing plot. And he went further and said that his handlers at the FBI were supposed to supply him with fake bombing materials so there would be no explosion. However, at the last moment, he was actually given live material. But then at the subsequent trial of the defendants in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing case, Salem was nowhere to be found. He didn't testify. I got in touch with reporter Blumenthal some years later and asked him what happened to Salem and why he wasn't allowed to tell his story in the courtroom. At which point, Blumenthal got angry with me, told me that I didn't understand his article, and that was that. In my opinion, he was backing away from his own reporting. So now, with his UFO revelations, I have a few doubts. Okay? Now, my sense is that these mainstream revolutions that have just been handed out by the Department of Defense. Remember, these are not leaks. Nobody went outside of the boundaries and talked out of school. This is just generally offered to everyone from the Department of Defense. I would suggest that there will be more revelations coming, even though the military is not in the habit of doing the public great favors that involve secret programs. So I'm assuming that the information they are releasing is a limited hangout on what they really know. That is to say, they are doing a kind of a step operation, feeding a bit of information to the public, gauging the public reaction. Then comes another one, and then see what the reaction is to that, and then another one. Now, how far will this go? Well, one thing that you can be sure of is that the Department of Defense is going to seek to own the story. Please understand that. And shape this story any way they want to. Through their mainstream media fronts, they'll also sculpt the conclusions or the non-conclusions that should be made. For example, let's take this away. They could eventually say something like this. 50 years ago, they found an alien body at a UFO crash site in the desert. Here's some photos. Then they would say, the anatomy of the corpse is definitely not human. And then they would say, since then, no other alien bodies have been seen, located, or discovered. True? False? Who knows? Because they're the source of the story, which is the way they want it to be. Because when somebody wants us to look at the truth, they disclose all the data and they open up all the files and they allow us to see the material evidence up close and personal so many independent analyses can be performed. What are the odds that they're going to do that? What are the odds are going to do that? And as a sort of spin-off of this, positioning themselves, I'm now talking about the Department of Defense, as the central source of the UFO revelations tends to push citizen research into the background, which is never a good thing. Understand all of this because it's very important, and this really is a new gambit here that we are looking at. Again, these are not leakers. These are not, for example, ex-Pentagon officers and maybe a CIA, somebody or other, who decides, yeah, I've got a non-disclosure agreement, but I'm going to break it because this is too important, and I'm going to testify and give my story at a press conference, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is not that. This is not anything to do with that. This is the Department of Defense, and perhaps it appears channeling, piping their information through Luis Elizondo, but going to the mainstream press, the biggest mainstream outlets in the world, directly handing them over video, statements, etc., 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 and also releasing from any obligation that he might have to maintain secrecy, at least one of the pilots from the 2004 escapade off the coast of San Diego and the UFO spotting, to go to the press and talk to the press openly. Sure, be interviewed, no problem, go ahead. This is unique. This is different. This is not the same old story. This is a whole different deal. And we have to seriously think about what this means, and I've given you some of the possibilities here. There is more thinking necessary here. Don't automatically believe that suddenly, seized with a spirit of generosity and openness, that the U.S. Department of Defense has decided to just spill beans. Here we go. Here it is, folks. This is what we never told you before. And here we want you to know it because you deserve to know it, because the public should know. Now, there may be a few people at the Department of Defense who feel that way, people who are in positions of power, but this is not even that, because you don't see in the press reports that anybody at the Pentagon is saying, well, you know, there are honest differences of opinion here, and one of our branch offices, so to speak, decided to release this data to the public. We don't necessarily believe that the information, though admittedly credible, suggests that there is life elsewhere in the universe, or that we've been visited, or anything like that. You're not even hearing that. This is as if the head of the Pentagon, and therefore everybody there, is saying, let's go, boys. Let's just turn it out, hand it out. This is not the style of the Pentagon, okay? Understand that. They don't do things on the basis of sheer generosity. They have a reason for doing what they're doing. And I've suggested several possibilities as to what they're about here. Now, some people will say, well, you see, we're getting very close to our own revelations, and we were ready to really blow the whistle on the Pentagon and the CIA and all about UFO disclosure, and they felt, well, these guys are getting too close, so we're going to have to release something, so let's put this out. Yeah, I understand that kind of thinking, but at least for now, unless I see something different, I would say that's kind of a wishful fantasy. Doesn't seem like that's the reason. Now, maybe it'll turn out, well, yes it is, but until I see some evidence for it, I'm not assuming that's true either.
Well, let me jump in, John, because we're going to run out of time, and I want to get your responses on a couple of questions that I have. In your honest opinion, and you've been dealing with whistleblowers, and you've been dealing with some very, very, very touchy things for decades. So, in your journalistic opinion, then I have to ask you why. What's the reasons here?
Well, I mean,
without speculating,
aside from the suggestions that I made, it appears to me that they want to own this story. They want to tell it to the mainstream press, which means this is what everybody is going to believe. Now, assuming that to be true, they could be lying. They could be faking the whole thing, that none of it is actually true because, once again, deception is their way of life. But assuming for the moment that it's all true, everything we've been hearing in the last week or so, they want the public to believe that we are not alone.
There's one element to this story that is not out there. And I have talked about this. If you go back and look at the original accounts of this 2004 event, which were published on the internet on a couple of private websites that these pilots have, they have, groups, right? Pilot groups. And, and they tell stories and, and his wingman, Dave Fravor's wingman, whose name I have, went on the record and talked about this whole thing in this pilots group, and the pilots are like, well, this is an amazing event that went down, but they go down to the nuts and bolts of naming just about everybody that was in play here, all of the officers, everybody that was on the deck, the parts of the flight crew, again, the wingman, and recounting this story years ago, okay, with some pretty cool photographs of the original Tic Tac UFO that were in color, not gun camera footage. This was other stuff that they took that were in color. And that is not part of the New York Times or any of the mainstream media's reporting right now. And so that's the other interesting part, that they were telling this story amongst themselves. Right?
Yeah.
These other pilots.
Now let me point something out then. So this was years ago.
Yes.
So since then, as far as the public is concerned, zero happened. Nothing happened. This did not kick up any kind of a major stir among the public since that, conversation that you're talking about. Zero public reaction from the general public. Okay,
right.
So therefore, the Pentagon didn't need to release this now in order to squelch a sort of a growing wave of discontent among the public about these pilots who were telling the truth and why don't we know it and all of that. Nothing. So still,
Yeah, well, I guess my point in bringing that up, these pilots were talking, like I said, this is, the little private group. These aren't websites or forums that are out there in the public, and you have to be part of their group to even, have access to it or even know that these websites exist. But what I'm saying is that it validates the story today. It was already out there, and they were talking about it amongst themselves back then. And with some other documentation that vets the story that was released now. Dave Fravor has not changed his story. The wingman, he'll be next. He'll be the next guy to go public with all of this. But it was out there, man, and it was for me when I chased the story down and chased these pilots down. This was a couple of months ago. When I was shocked in what I was reading, and I just couldn't believe it. Now to have the real video out with the audio on it. And everything else that goes with it, the program, the Pentagon, Harry Reid, and this warehouse in Las Vegas and Bigelow. Well, okay, that's all sprinkles on the top. But the actual, the real part of this story, which is Dave Fravor, 17 years as a pilot in the Navy, who has, an exemplary career behind him. For him to go public is shocking. It's just, my question is the same for you. It's why. I mean, why?
We don't know.
Are they trying to get?
Here's my sense. Whatever the why is, the Pentagon let's say, okay, we want to let people know that we're not alone and there is other life in the universe and they've been here. Okay. But we at the Pentagon, the government, so to speak, we want to control this story, and that's why we are letting it out to the mainstream press, who are our mouthpieces that we can rely on. So however we're going to shape this and sculpt it and describe what it means that we are not alone, et cetera, we want to own the story. We don't want private citizens to own that story. We don't want researchers that have been at this for decades to be the story. We want to shape it and tell people what to conclude about it, what it means, what it doesn't mean, and limit the exposure in that sense.
Right.
To me, so far, that's the why.
And the other part, and this is what's crazy. You can't go backwards now. You can't turn back time. You can't take it all back.
No.
Right? So there's only moving forward. So are they trying to, and you alluded to this, the easy way to suggest this is that they're trying to get out ahead of this because there's something else, that's about to leak too, and they know this. Well, the reason why that's an easy conclusion is because that's the MOD, man. That's the method of operation right there. That's what they do. So that's an easy thing to jump on. I almost don't have a problem thinking that they know that there's something else about to jump and they need to control the narrative. So they had to get out in front of it, and they did it. Yeah,
maybe. But we'll see if that thing comes up. If it does, yeah. But if it doesn't, then, it becomes less easy to figure, except they want to own the story. You can believe that.
That's right. John, thank you so much, my friend. Great week. Next week, I can't wait to hear what you have to say. There's no telling what's going to go down. There's another major interview tomorrow night on Fox Live, so here we go.
Here we go.
Thank you so much, John. Be safe. Hey, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Jimmy.
Talk to you. There he is, Jon Rappoport. All right, when we come back after the break, stay put. Get ready, kids. James Gilliland's going to be here. Going to get his comments and take your phone calls. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy.
You're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes.
We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly ancient life oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go Beckley Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gilliland Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Thursday night, Fadernight. Open lines all night long. This segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by Life Change Tea. Starting with their Super Strength Tea. You need the Super Strength Tea in your life. Just go right now, click on the banners over at jimmychurchradio.com. Use the promo code Fader, get free shipping. Go to the specials page when you are there. All right. Disclosure happened. We are 6 days into it. Pretty nutty week. And live with us, our good friend from Mexico, and not from ECETI, James Gilliland. James, how are you, my friend?
Oh, doing great.
It's always good to hear your voice. Hey, before we get started, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, same to you. Did you like my Christmas present I sent you?
Yeah, I just got it. You're the best, man. You're the best, James.
That just happened that was just a couple hours ago.
You know, I'm just going to tell the audience, James feeds me the most amazing photographs and images all week long. I look forward to the top secret textosos that come in from James, and I so want to just publish them and get them out there. I get so many of them from you; they're all amazing, and I don't want to get into any trouble because I always text James back or call him or whatever and go, "Dude, do I have permission? Who took this? You know what to do with it?" Because it's just amazing stuff. But man, nothing like being in the world of James Gilliland. Now, James. Let's get straight to it. You're down in Mexico. What part of Mexico are you in right now? Can you talk? Is the NSA going to interrupt this phone call?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. But, I just did a show. I've done several shows. Yesterday I did 3 shows. Actually, it was crazy. But I couldn't believe the interference. They had to reboot like 3 or 4 times on the shows. And it was crazy. I mean, everything popped up on the computer, and I go, "Well, I've never seen this before."
Yeah, it happened to
obviously they.
Yeah, it happened to us tonight too as well. We got interrupted, but you know what? It is what it is. So now, here we are, man. 6 days into disclosure. I have not talked to you since everything broke. When things started to take off Saturday, what went through your mind?
Well, what I've seen is, and it's sad to say, but I'm really hoping this isn't just more of the same. I mean, we've gone through the same process, God knows how many times, with all the same players, it seems. And now there's some new players, but they're still hooked into the old players. So the way I look at it, I heard Grant Cameron do a talk on it. He was very good. I mean, he just laid it all out. He said, there's just be careful with this one because, it could go well, or it could just leave us in, a small little box again, like it has in the past, because we've got the thing about it with ECETI is that we know who's on the ships. We know their cultures. We've gone all the way up to the 13th dimension with this stuff. And, written books about it, Anunnaki Return and The Ultimate Soul Journey. And all this information has been out there for a long time. But we keep pigeonholing this into nuts and bolts and secret space fleet and things, a very limited release of what's really happening. But the big picture is so big. Most people, how do you explain something to some people? They can't even comprehend it. I understand that end of it. But it's a multidimensional experience. There's parts of it that are extremely spiritual. There's parts of it that are malevolent. There's all different parts. And when people focus just on one area, they miss the big picture, or they focus too much on the negative or the nuts and bolts. They're just getting the tip of the iceberg, basically. So,
how do you think
what's going on is huge?
Yeah, James, how do you think the mainstream media has been handling it?
Well, I tell you what's interesting. Fox News actually came out to the ranch, and they had an amazing experience, and they saw the ships and everything else. And, they did, they brought the debunkers on, and I actually debunked the debunkers and made them look really bad. But they sanitized it as far as the footage. I mean, we have every color, size, shape ship you can imagine, treetop level, massive ships flying over the ranch. And we just had that massive landing. It's up on EastEddie Stargate, the official channel. But we just had a massive landing on the mountain. And this thing, this minimum, it's probably a mile wide. It's huge. And, you have evidence like that. And, we've had NASA's come out. We've had triple PhD Boeing engineers, Skunk Works, Lockheed, engineers, all these people testifying. We had Air Force base commanders, air traffic controllers. We have all that evidence. We have their testimony, and they're all saying these are real. They're not ours. We don't know who they are. And so, but, let's take the next step, like who are they? Why are they here? What's their intention? What is their culture about? Have they been in our past? Are they our ancestors? And really, what's their agenda? Because there's multiple agendas going on here, and we need to cover the whole enchilada. And that's what I see. I think this is going to fall far short, of really getting the whole enchilada out there.
Well, when you have every single mainstream news outlet for 6 straight days cover the UFO question, that's never happened before in the history of anything. Does that help you validate your position that you've been screaming about for the better part of 2 decades?
It helps, but you'll find out, too, is that other than your show and some, even in the UFO community, we're extremely censored. Even though we do have, probably the best footage on the planet. We have actually photographs of the beings themselves. And, Peter and Solita over there in Australia at the EastEddie Australia site, they're having Palladiums actually appear in their houses, and they're getting photographs of them. And we have something similar going on. But, it's like it's gone so far beyond, are they real? Who are, we know they're real. We know who they are. We know some ships are physical. Some are metal. Some are pure energy. Some are light ships, and some are just pure consciousness. And there's beings on that whole multidimensional, vibrational continuum, you might say, like we're saying, some beings are less dense physical, some are energy beings, some are light beings, and some are pure spiritual beings. And, it's time we get out the big picture and also do the research on the ancient origins, because these are our ancestors that are coming back. They're the pyramid builders. They're the ones that terraformed the earth, a long time ago. And we've been under the siege of some very malevolent ones for quite some time. And, they call that the draconian grid. And that's being torn down right now by the benevolent ones. And so, I think it's interesting. It's as above, so below. The cause of all this turmoil you're seeing, in politics and everything here, all these changes happening, that the cause is not what you think. It's actually all happening on a higher level. And we're just seeing the effect.
Peter sent me. Did you see these pictures he took this week of the disc in Australia? Did you see those images? Now I'm going to tell you
I did. Yeah.
Those are some of the most incredible photographs I've ever seen. So good they look fake. That's how good they are. You know what I mean? Yeah. I looked at those and to look at the detail on the craft, and they're perfectly in focus, and just absolutely incredible photographs. I don't know if I've got his permission to share those with the world. I wanted to get him out.
He sent me stuff, and I asked him if we could share it, and he said, go for it. So I'm sure it's fine. It's not a problem. You got to get those guys on your show, because they're having now Peter's kind of like the reluctant Messiah. He's not in it for the fame or the money or anything else. He's a salt of the earth guy. You know, he's these people, their integrity levels are off the scale, and you know, it's sad because he's getting hammered hard, you know, by the UFO community, by the debunkers, and everything else. And there's times he just wants to walk away. He goes, I don't know why I'm even dealing with this. You know, I'm just going to go. Actually, did go get a regular job. You know, so I mean,
I know,
but I mean, it's like we have the best footage on the planet. We've proven contact redundantly. We've told people exactly when and where the ships would appear, and they do appear. And you know, you were there when we had 200 or 300 witnesses.
Yes,
out in the field.
Yes.
You know, with the ships coming.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, at what point do you keep asking the word? When is contact going to happen? You know, it's already happened, and my question is, when are we going to cover it? You know,
now,
I mean, you're doing a great job of covering it, but
well, we do what we can.
You know, where's the mainstream?
Well, but we do it with you know, people like you, James. But I wanted to ask you about the video that you sent me of the craft landing on Mount Adams. That. It was okay. Let me ask you a couple of questions. It looks like, because I know the area up there with ESETI, and I'm looking at the video, that thing looked really big. I mean, it wasn't small. How big do you think that craft was? Hundreds of feet, a mile? How big was it?
Well, some people are saying when they did the math, I had a guy up there, he was doing the math and doing this figuring, and he's pretty accurate. And he was saying this thing could be up to 2 miles wide.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
At least a mile.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, at least a mile wide when it spreads out. And, you know, you look at the size, he did all this stuff on the size of the mountain and the distance and everything else. But, you know, I think the reason it landed outside, it was too big to go through the door, you know.
Yeah, that thing was huge.
They couldn't get it in the mountain.
And the shape of it and the lights that were around it, it was just so beautiful. So Steven Spielberg, man, it was an incredible video. Now, how long? You know, the video is a few minutes long, but how long was it up there doing its thing?
I'd say probably 20 minutes plus,
incredible.
20 or 30 minutes.
Just absolutely incredible.
A minimum, you know, I'm underestimating it, but I think, you know, it could have gone up to 45 minutes or so. But, you know, we kind of cut parts of it because there's parts of it where it was just kind of sitting there not doing anything. So we kind of edited those out.
Right. Incredible video, man. It was one of those, Rita's down in her office and she's like, have you watched this? Have you seen, you know, and I'm like, I'm watching it now. And I was just blown away, James. And again, this is what's funny. It's just another night at ESETI. You know, I mean, it just never stops.
You know,
how many?
People were saying that. People are going. Okay, go ahead.
How many people saw that craft land?
Well, I think there was about. We counted. There's about 9 people. There was more people that came up later, but we counted 9 people at the time when it happened. There was at least 9 people, and then some more I think came later.
Absolutely incredible. Now, James, how long you've been waiting, you know, for mainstream media to finally cover the UFO question, right? Now we've got it. Now, and we've had 6 days. Fox has got some more interviews that they're going to be doing tomorrow night. So that'll be, you know, 7 days. How long do you think that this is going to last? Do you think it's going to stay out there in the mainstream now that it's out there, that they can't help but cover it?
Oh, you know, it's the cat's out of the bag right now. And there's more going on than we know about. And the reason... I'll tell you something. This is going to be really interesting. I'm trying to stay out of the politics part. But there's UFOs following Trump's plane, and it's on Fox News.
Right.
You know, Fox News actually showed it. You know, we've all seen that footage.
Right.
And there's a major thing going on that there's a disclosure, and I think it's on the highest levels that this is coming out. And one thing I'm worried about is it going to, are they going to, control the narrative and steer this down a really dark path and say we should be very afraid, and, they're coming here to turn us into human pilaf and to conquer the planet, which is not the case. And that's kind of where a lot of that stuff is going. But, there were, low-level ETs operating here for quite some time. It goes all the way back to the Anunnaki days, the fallen Anunnaki and Marduk, who made a pact with the reptilians. And I've covered that in Anunnaki Return, the book I wrote. But, we've been under that draconian grid ever since then. And now we're finally getting relieved of that. And so I'm saying there's a multidimensional cleanup going on, which is allowing the cleanup to happen on the physical level. That's the effect that we're seeing now.
Why do you think disclosure is happening now? Why did the Pentagon release this video? Why now, James? What's the story?
Well, they don't have a choice, because the real disclosures are going to come from the skies, and it's very close. And, they're going to decloak, and they're already doing it over cities, and people are seeing UFOs all over the world, massive UFOs. They can't hide it anymore, and they know they can't hide it, so they're kind of behind the eight ball. They gotta start moving very quickly, or they're all just going to have egg on their face, very, very shortly, because it's the mass disclosure by the ETs themselves is going to happen.
And what do you think is next? Like I said, we can't go backwards now. And you just said it. The cat is out of the bag, right? The cat is out, and the cat is taking a look around. What is next for the Pentagon? Are they going to, you think they're going to release some more stuff? More pilots are going to come forward? They're going to, reveal a crashed saucer? What's next?
Well, the big picture is that now I can talk a little bit about it. I can't talk too much about it, but the Golden Dragon family, in China, there's an old saying, he who owns the gold makes the rules. That's the golden rule.
Right.
But they're very involved. They're a very extremely spiritually it's a very old, very wise culture. And they have their cleanup. They're cleaning up their problems as well as our government is cleaning up its. But that's a lot of what these meetings happened with Trump. It wasn't just economic things. The meetings were something much bigger. And to explain this, and this is going to go way out on the wild side, when you get up into this really, you get into the cabal and the elite and those guys, they're actually manipulated by other unseen forces, which are these malevolent beings, And so what's happening is those are all being cleaned up, and that's why the cabal is falling. They've lost their power base. Their puppet masters are being taken out, and their bases have been taken out here on the earth. And so you're going to see that just totally collapse. And it's like it's just going to keep collapsing as it comes down to, the puppets are just going to all fall apart too. And so it's a cleanup of a very, very sick kind of satanic child sacrifice, pedophile, all that stuff. We're seeing that in Hollywood, everything. All that stuff is being cleaned up right now. We're just seeing the tip of the iceberg, with the accusations about predator, behavior on younger women and things like that. That's just the tip of the iceberg. It goes much, much darker. A lot of these guys are just copping to that, so they're just getting out of Dodge. They don't want to find out what they've really done.
Are you suggesting that Trump is going to be our disclosure president?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know what he's going to do with this. I know he knows a lot. He knows what's really going on. He knows the big picture. He's actually been getting a lot of protection so we can get this stuff cleaned up. I want to first do a disclaimer. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. So I'm not, I try to stay out of politics as much as possible, but I do look at the big picture. And there's a massive cleanup going on, and nobody's perfect, but it is going to get done. It is going to get one way or the other. It is going to get this nonsense is going to end, because we're going to go into a whole new age where you're not going to have this manufactured lack and this gross uneven dispersal of wealth. And the free energy is going to come out. Trump just signed a bill to bring out all these extreme healing technologies, energy medicine and things like that. I just saw that just recently. So all these things are going to come out, and it's all, part of a bigger plan it's part of the awakening healing of humanity, the earth, and it's the earth is evolving. She's going to the next level, and we've got to match it. We've got to become frequency specific to her process if we're going to stay here.
Exciting times. Have you ever, seriously, don't you feel, it's just pretty nutty, isn't it? Don't you just feel, I'm glowing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's, it is exciting times. It's amazing. It's funny, like just today, I was down, I went for a good swim and everything. I was feeling really good. And I met this woman, an elderly woman, and she was there with their family. And she had this big smile on her face. And, and I looked at this woman, I go, this woman's plugged in, And so I started talking to her, and I showed her pictures, of the masters appearing to be steady. And then I showed her the landing. And this woman got so excited, and she called her whole family over. And it was just amazing seeing the openness of that, And she had these little, like sarongs that she had that she was selling, and I needed one anyway. So I bought one and, gave her a really kind of a healthy tip and said, Merry Christmas, take care of the peeps, the family. But, it's kind of like, I came home and it was just like, God, there's, how can you put a price on that? It was such an amazing experience to have somebody so open and so hungry, for the knowledge, right.
And so grateful that she goes, who are you? She goes, where'd you come from? And she goes, I've known this all my life. She goes, I've known this all my life. And I keep bumping into people randomly, and I start talking to them, and the next thing you know, they're having a meltdown, and they know they're connected to the stars. They know there's something else going on, something bigger. And I'm just seeing this constantly where everybody's right on the edge. They're right on the edge of popping, going, there's got to be something better. There's got to be something bigger. Something big is going down. I can feel it. And you just got to like, they're like kindling, you just got to touch a little spark on there and boom, they light up. It's amazing.
It's starting to light up now, James. Well, hey, listen, have a very, very Merry Christmas and happy holidays. I know you're down there in Mexico. We'll be talking to you and seeing you very soon, but safe travels. Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for stopping by tonight.
All right, you too.
James Gilliland.
All right, thanks for having me on the show.
You got it, James. James Gilliland. Down there in Mexico. It's the days of disclosure. Okay, phone lines are open. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Your phone calls are next. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy.
Do you worry a lot? Whether you're a college student, busy professional, parent, or grandparent, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in 1 to 2 weeks. Call 1-800-758-8746 or calmandclever.com.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. It's Fadernight, Thursday night. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. We're 6 days into disclosure. Open lines all night long. And this segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. It's dark and it's smoky. Use the promo code F2B blend right now. Just go to the banners over at JimmyChurchRadio.com and you will get 15% off of your order. Now, if you're on hold, stay right there. I'll get to everybody in a second. I'm holding this up to the bunker cam now. I have talked about this photograph for years on the show. This photograph is the photograph I took of a black triangle back in 1995. Now, as you can see, this is a picture of a cloud, right? And now you've heard me tell this story. And I was going through my photographs and then I find this, picture and I'm like, I'm holding it up to the bunker cam. And I'm like, why did I take this? Oh, that's right, the black triangle. So I get out my jeweler's loop, and I put it on. Now, the triangle is right where my finger is, okay? So I'm holding it. It's right there. See that little black dot, right? You see that in the bunker cam? Okay. It's tiny, right? You can't even see it. And he put the jeweler's loop on it. That's how high up in the clouds it is. And there it is. It's this black triangle. Now, what it did, it went from here where you see it, and it went across and then stopped, right? And then went up into the blue. And that was it. And so I didn't get a chance to take a second picture. I only got the one. But when you look at this and you see how high up in the clouds it is, and then once you look at it in the loop, and you see that it is plainly a black triangle, and there it is. There's the famous black triangle picture, and you can see there it is, and you can just see it. It's just a little black dot right there. Pretty crazy. So that's it. I'm going to scan this. I've been reticent into publishing this out on the net because I don't want other people to say it's theirs and so forth. And also, this is a photograph. It was taken on a 35 millimeter camera. It's a negative. This isn't a digital picture. There it is. There's the original black triangle photograph. Pretty cool, huh? All right, let's see. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
It's Debbie, Jimmy. How you doing?
Yeah, hey, how are you?
Pretty good. I thought I'd give you a call and say congratulations on the 4 years. Didn't get a chance to call in last night, but I've been around almost the 4 years. I think
yes,
I found you on like episode 7 or something like that.
So Merry Christmas. And
Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And what do you guys got planned for this weekend?
Well, not really much of anything. My birthday's Saturday, and we might go out to dinner, but other than that, that's about it.
So your birthday is the day before Christmas Eve?
Yes, and I share it with Graham Bonnet.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But Allison and Eric's birthday is today. So happy birthday, guys.
Happy birthday to Allison. I already said it to her on Facebook, but she's 29, you're 29. Life is good.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
So what do you think about these last 6 days? Pretty amazing, pretty fun ride.
Well, when I first heard about it, I'll clean it up, but my first words are, it's about frickin' time.
Right.
Because we all know it's there, and to have something actually not leaked, but produced by the Pentagon is saying something. Like I don't know why. Is it to distract us from something else, be it political with Trump or Mueller or North Korea or, whatever? I don't know. Because I always, question everything.
Right.
But at least it's out there. And what really prompted me into calling tonight was that in part, but also Dave's father is 91. And his mother's 88. So we were over there the other day helping them with something. And I was telling him, I said, hey, did you hear the story? And, I told him about the video and so on and so forth. And he said, well, it's about time they acknowledged it. And I looked at him and I'm like, really? It was like, because it's not the type of thing that he talks about. So it was a surprise. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, years ago, right after World War II, I worked with a guy who flew B-24s in the war. And he was telling me that when he had flown into, I guess it was not Wright-Patterson back then, it was like Patterson, I guess it was, or Wright Field. And he was talking about he saw a flying saucer in a hangar, and he said he thought it was hangar 19. Well, I think he means hangar 18, but I'm not going to argue. And he said years later I saw on TV them talking about it, and there was that hangar 19 sign with the door just cracked open like you could see something in it. And he says, and I knew right then he was telling the truth. And he says, he told me a lot of things that he saw when he was flying. And I said, were they like the Foo Fighters? And he said, well, that, but he said that there were also discs and so on and so forth. So afterwards, we had a good conversation, but I got to thinking afterwards, and, with this disclosure that's out, I wonder just how many more people of that generation are going to actually open up and say and talk about things that we, haven't heard, or maybe more details to fill in some of the blanks to the things that we have.
Right.
And I thought that was pretty interesting. But the other part is, why is nobody talking about the part where they said they had metals that nobody knew what was.
Well, so much, but Deb, you're right. But so much came out.
Oh, yeah.
We have to, there was like 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 different things that need to be looked into there. We didn't know about Harry Reid. We didn't know about this secret Pentagon military program. We didn't know about that. We didn't know about this warehouse in Las Vegas. We didn't know that Bigelow was involved. We knew Bigelow was involved with MUFON and Skinwalker, but this whole thing with Harry Reid. Most of 99.9% of the world didn't, or more than that, didn't know about this video, didn't know about the Nimitz, didn't know about this event in 2004, didn't know the name of the pilot, didn't know about Luis Elizondo. So all of these things, and there's more than that, they were all part of this article. So it was just like, wow, this was a lot to dump all at one time, and there's so much to go and look into. Above all, with the biggest question, why now? What's going on? You've been in denial about this. Now all of a sudden you're cool with it. You're cool with Elizondo. All of the, when you have Skunk Works involved and Elizondo and the Pentagon and Harry Reid, all of them have non-disclosure and secrecy agreements. And suddenly it's just okay to quit this program, to retire from the Senate, and then start singing like a bird and not violating any oaths. So they've been given the green light to go out there and talk. Why?
Well,
that's why. Why?
Exactly.
Why?
And I don't know if it's the politics or not, but my other half of my brain is thinking, perhaps it is either they have it, and we're going to find it, traces of ancient civilizations, be it Antarctica, Mars, Moon, whatever,
right?
Or some of the photographs are coming back from the Chinese rockets that are around the moon, or one of the individual entrepreneurs that will be going to the Mars soon. And so they know that we're going to know sooner or later. They better start breaking it to us now.
Right.
And maybe that's part of it.
Could be.
I don't know, but I'm with you. There is a reason.
It all makes sense. That's the thing. It all makes sense. Hey, Deb, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, too. One other point was, did you see in that one article that part of that money was actually also going to be funding the research into Skinwalker Ranch?
Yeah, there's part of that.
So that maybe there's more than UFO involved.
Right. There is that part, too. Hey, Deb, Merry Christmas. Give my best to Dave.
Merry Christmas to you and Rita, all my love. You take care and try to get a day off.
I'll talk to you. Thank you.
Bye. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. Deb and Dave coming in now, and those are all. See, this is the thing. When I say it all makes sense. It's like you can take any part of this theory that anybody has for the reasons of this, and it's just fine. All right, hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy. It's Bev.
Hey, Bev. Merry Christmas.
Well, Merry Christmas to you too.
Do you have 2 eyes yet?
Not yet. I don't have my other one done till the day after Christmas.
Oh, the day after Christmas. Okay, there you go. Well, you guys are going to have a great Christmas this weekend, and I know that you are, but Merry Christmas to you and Bob. So, really quick, what's on your mind?
Oh, I just wanted to call and wish you and all of our Fader family a very Merry Christmas, and thank everybody again for all their help.
Oh, the pleasure is all ours. I mean, you can say thank you till the cows come home. It doesn't that part. We know that you're thankful. We're just happy that we were there when you needed us, and that's the point.
Yep, I'll tell you. I don't know what we would have done.
No, you know what? That doesn't matter because you got it done. So, listen, have a great, safe, fun, happy, Merry Christmas. Go get the operation done, and then we'll talk to you next week on the show, and you'll be in stereo vision.
All righty, I sure will.
Thank you so much, Bev.
Love you, Jimmy.
Love you back, Bev.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Let's just stay on the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live. You are live. 3, 2. Yeah, you're live. Somebody has got a bad connection. Okay, 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. So back to the photograph. So this is it, and everybody's asking for me to I've got to get this scanned, and I'll scan it. I have been hesitant to scan it and get it out there. I know about watermarks and all of that. This is precious because it's the real deal. It is. I have the negatives. Okay, so I still have those, and this really happened. And this was now this is 22 years ago, but to have in these days of digital photography and CGI and the manipulation and everything else, that's not what this is. This is an actual photograph. You can see it, there it is, and it was taken up in Monterey. And I was taking pictures of a group of friends, and somebody said, hey, what is that? And I pulled the camera down, and everybody's looking, and all it was at the time was just this black dot, but it was its speed. It was way up high, and at that altitude, things move really, really slow and go across the sky. It's no big deal, but this was going, So I grabbed this one picture, and I took the camera down and looked, and as I wanted to go and take a second picture, it slowed down. I almost want to say it stopped, but it certainly slowed down to and then shot up at the end of the cloud and went up to the blue and was gone. The whole thing lasted 5 seconds, maybe. The entire event. It was just like 5 seconds, and it came and went and was gone. And I had nearly forgotten about it. And 6 months later, I had a whole drawer full of 35, I had like 20 rolls of film. So I go up, to the drugstore, and I drop off the 20 rolls of film, and then I go back, later on that afternoon, and now I've got 20 envelopes full of images, and I'm going through, what's a keeper, what goes in the photo album, what doesn't, and I'm going through, and I find this picture of clouds. I'm like, why would I take a picture of clouds? I'm just telling you how it went down. And I was like, oh, that's right. I had completely forgotten about it. I don't think the event happened so fast in the way that it did. I don't even think any of us talked about it after that. And one of the people that was with me, I talked to him a couple of years ago at the NAMM show. And I said, hey, do you remember, the UFO? And he goes, no, man, I don't. I was like, we were standing, I remember taking the pictures, yeah. And I go, well, yeah. It was one of those things. It just and was gone, and it even escaped my mind. So there you go. All right, back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy.
Yes.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Who's calling?
This is Jay, calling from North Carolina.
Jerry?
First-time caller.
Okay, Jerry from
Jay.
North... Yeah. Jay. Sorry, Jay. Merry Christmas.
Okay.
What's on your mind, my friend?
Hey, quick question. I don't know if you're a fan of Cosmic Disclosure with Corey Goode and David Wilcox.
I wouldn't say I'm fan is a weird word. You can ask me if I watch it.
Okay. Do you watch it?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Corey is a frequent guest here on the show, and so is David Wilcock.
Okay, awesome. I'm just wondering and hoping that those guys would chime in on some of this stuff as well. But
I have spoken to both of them this week. Yes, about this.
So that's good news.
Okay. David is going to be on with me this Saturday on Coast to Coast. Okay? So
awesome.
Obviously that will be part of what we'll be talking about on Saturday night. So I will hold back on his opinions about what is going on. Corey, we were going to get on the show this week, but he is traveling. He's on the road. He's going to go hang. It's Christmas weekend, right? So after we get back from Christmas break, we'll get Corey on the show. The first week of January, the first opportunity when he's back from vacationing with his family. He's got some interesting points that I think that him and David have both been talking about what happened this week, that this was going to happen in a limited form of disclosure, and it was going to go down pretty much exactly how they described it. And but you know what? It's not for me to speak for those two. They've been talking about this for a long time. They've gotten a lot of crap for it, too, as well. And so I'm going to let them, give their take on it in their own voice. Having me speak for them it's just not right, man. It's not cool. So, Saturday night, David Wilcock on Coast to Coast, and then a week later or so, as soon as Corey's back from his vacation, he'll be on Fade to Black, and we'll get his take. And no telling what's going to go down between now and then. That's the other part. So what do you think, Jerry? What do you think? How are you feeling?
Well, I know I'm not from this planet. I can tell you that. The more... I'm down for full disclosure is what I'm down for. And I think this younger generation came here prepped and ready, prepared for it as well.
How old are you?
I'm 45.
You're 45, so you're a kid. Okay. So you're part of the younger generation, even though you're 45. That sounds strange, doesn't it? But you're born in the 70s, right? So what, 71, 72. You're not from the 30s. Let's make that very clear.
Absolutely.
I mean, disco came and went before you knew what disco was. That's how young you are. Okay. I bought those albums. That's how old I am. So, you're right though. I think your generation and younger, they get it. You guys come from a different mindset where you've been exposed to some pretty fantastical things your whole lives. Eric Von Daniken and Travis Walton and Rendlesham and all of these just amazing things went down in your lifetime. Plus you have the movies. Plus you have the cartoons and Star Wars and, that's all part of it.
Quick.
You guys are okay with it.
Real quick, just an example by what I meant by the younger generation. I stepped into a coffee shop tonight. I was out Christmas shopping, last minute stuff.
Right.
Stepped into a coffee shop. There were two millennials, young 20s, couldn't be 25 yet. But they were both having a conversation that I overheard. They were betting each other by 2025 that they would be continuing their conversation on Venus.
That's cool. And they were being serious. That's the
thing.
They
were dead serious.
Dead serious.
As a doornail.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. I'm totally with you. I was on, I want to back up. I'm going to say 1998, 1999, right in there. I'm on a plane and, doing my business stuff, just flying around the country. And sitting next to me was a man and a woman, both in their early 20s, both working in the tech field. I believe, you know what, I don't want to say the company, but let's just say it's a company like Microsoft. It might have even been Microsoft, maybe not. That's my disclosure there. I got to, my disclaimer. But talking about ET contact, talking about communication, talking about the internet, talking about quantum and non-localities and just crazy. And I'm just like, so I got into this conversation with them, and their whole thing about time travel and folding space and the internet and how things are all connected and how things are going to move forward. And I was like, wow. And they were kids, fully engaged in these theories on how to apply all of this stuff to technology today. And I swear, I got off that flight, Jay, and I went straight to my office, and I told everybody about this conversation, because at that time, I was working for Elisa's. At that time, we were into digital recording, digital this, and trying to figure out audio and perfecting things and digital amplifiers and digital switching and cutting edge technology. And I just let them know that, man, we think that we're on the front end of this stuff. We don't know nothing, because, I feel pretty good about that. I really, really do. I think the younger generation has no issues with the fantastic. They don't have any issues with that, man. They don't.
I think they're ready for it. They're
working on it. Ready for it. They're working on it. Hey, Jay.
Exactly.
Hey, Merry Christmas, man. And don't be a stranger. You know how much I love first-time callers, man. Thank you so much. And don't forget to come hang out with me on Saturday night with David Wilcock and David Icke on the same show.
Count on it.
I'll talk to you, Jay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Okay, man.
Love it.
I'll talk to you.
Merry Christmas to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas. Love first-time callers. Yeah, that event, I went back, and Keith, the owner of Elisa's, he's no longer with us. But I went back and sat in the lunchroom, the arena at Elisa's. I had just gotten in from LAX, and we sat down, and I got there in time for lunch. And I told him about this crazy flight with these, software engineers from this leading software company, and the conversation that I had on the plane. And he was into it, but it really, really impressed me, because I thought that generation was not on board. There were things that were stopping vision. I really felt that, and at that point in 1998, with the internet being so young. In digital technology, not only audio, but DVDs and digital transmissions, and trying to figure out things. It was complicated. Hard drives and USB wasn't even out, right? And so we were trying to figure out this digital world, and to sit next to these two kids that were talking about folding space with the internet. I was like, what? Man, all right. Listen, I see everybody. I see all of the calls backed up. I've got to take a break right here. If you're on hold, stay right there. This is Fade to Black. It's Thursday night. It is Fadernight. Open lines all night long. More of your phone calls are next. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. On the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation. And Angioprim is the result, a safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRAradio.com.
Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black, Thursday night, Fader Night. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. 6 days into the disclosure. Nobody's mentioned Neil deGrasse Tyson. And should he be the guy out there commenting on UFOs, on aliens? Should he? Now, the age of the universe, I'm with him on that. He's cool. How we got here. 17 years, 1 month, 10 days. Oh, the answer is Siri fired up with my comment on the age of the universe. Did you guys hear that? That was pretty trippy. Should he be the guy commenting on aliens and UFOs? Nobody's talked about that. I do want to hear your comments. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Phil Christophers.
This is who?
Philip Christophers.
Philip Christophers. Where are you calling from, Philip?
Southern Washington.
Up in Washington. All right, man. What's on your mind tonight, Philip?
Well, just watched the show last night, earlier tonight, with Marshall Van Summers, I believe the guy's name was.
Marshall Summers, yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of want to, that's what prompted me to call. I'm a first-time caller. So that, I mean, the guy just took a really negative viewpoint on something that's very multifaceted. I mean, just like James Gilliland pointed out, there's all sorts of things going on here. It's multidimensional, it's craft, it's space warps, it's all of that stuff going on. It's not, and just because a race shows itself and tries to help you doesn't mean that they're negative.
Right. Right. Hey, Philip, listen, and for you to be motivated enough from that show to call in says a lot, and I want to thank you. But sorry about that. But this is my take, is I try to get everybody's viewpoint on this show, everybody's research, everybody's contact, everybody's view from this. I have said from the beginning, we're 777 shows in. That's a lot of shows. And I have said nearly on every broadcast that we need to push all of our chips into the middle of the table. You know, we've got to have everybody's viewpoint on here. And we try to figure things out. So that's it. I thought Marshall last night, overall, yes. I mean, he definitely, and I've kind of shared this viewpoint that we need to be careful. We need to be careful because no matter who we are dealing with out there, they are smarter than us. How do I know that? We aren't going to them. They are coming here. We don't have the technology to go see them, but they have the technology to get here, which means they are smart. They are much older than us. So we just need to be careful in the way that we communicate and what the intentions are. We just don't know. I don't even know how we can possibly even recognize or communicate what is going on because it's so beyond us. It would be like magic, you know, and so we need to be careful. And so that part of his message, I'm absolutely with him on that. We can't just look, Philip, and I want you to understand what I'm saying here. I've had guests on this show saying that all ETs are good. They mean us no harm. I've had people on this show.
I'm not buying that either.
Right. I've had guests on this show saying, man, they eat us. We are dinner for them, right? So we have that side of it. And is it somewhere in the middle? I don't know. But the one thing that I am adamant about is that we just try to understand what we are dealing with, because us to them, I'm not so sure. When I say that we're the hillbillies of the universe, right? What is it that we could show ET that we are smart, that we are worthy, that we have progressed? You know, I think our technology here on this planet, no matter how advanced we think that we are, and we've done some incredible things, but to somebody that is 10,000 years or 1,000,000 years more advanced than us, would they be impressed with that? I don't know. I think they would maybe find it funny, you know. I mean, because it that's why Marshall's viewpoint of just being cautious and being careful and being ready, because what has gone on in the past in history is a perfect example of what happens when an advanced culture goes into one that it can dominate. You know, and the end of all of that has never been good, and that's his warning, and I think it's a good message.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a valid warning, but here's the thing: is he's like saying that we can't discern between what's good and what's bad. I mean, that's kind of what he was saying. You couldn't tell a good alien from a bad alien. Well, and I think I can. Yeah, and I think you're selling a short on our consciousness, what our consciousness can do.
Right. And you're right about that. I don't want to sell us short either.
And besides that, Corey Good says we're really good engineers out there. They're coming to us to have us re-engineer their stuff so it works better.
Well,
so I don't know. I think we're probably almost there.
And Corey also says that they're kidnapping us for slaves. So
well, there's that side of it too. Okay. And that's fine. If you want to try to kidnap me as a slave, I got knives and I can be pretty vicious too. I don't think we should give up on our negative nature. It kind of makes us a little prickly, and we're not the best slaves.
Well, and
I take that back. Okay, right. There's a bunch of sheeple out there. I realize this, and they probably make great slaves. I don't know.
There you go.
But I am not one of those people.
Hey, Philip.
I am
Philip.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
And happy holidays to you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Whatever
Philip.
you want to celebrate, because everybody out there celebrates something different. So I'm playing it safe.
Philip, be good out there, my friend. Okay, thank you, and we love.
Don't make me do things I can't do.
Merry Christmas, man. Thank you so much. Great.
Okay, have a good one, man.
You too. Great phone call right there. And hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hello, Jimmy. This is Ben Trout. How are you doing, my friend?
Hey, Ben. Merry Christmas, man.
Merry Christmas to you, Rita, and all the Fadernauts out there.
Man, you almost... No, I'm not going to do it. I was going to say, you almost make me want to read your email right now. But one of the best emails I've gotten in a while. And now I will say this, though. My response back to you, and you can tell everybody, yes, Jimmy, that's exactly what you said. My response back to you was, it makes me feel great to know that you are on top of your game. You listen, you observe, and you are skeptical, but you're happy too at the same time. And that means a lot to me, man. You really, really, really do pay attention to the world around us. And it was a very impressive email.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I'll vouch for what Jimmy just said. I sent him an email yesterday. I was sitting at work, and we're a little bit slow during the holidays and had some time to actually finish up, some of the recaps, read through some of the articles and listened to the show. And then, I think everybody out there who's in tune with what's happening right now, since everything that happened Saturday, everybody's mind is just, probably going, at light speed, for lack of a better way to put it,
right?
About what this means and where this is going to end up and what's on the horizon as we move forward.
Did you have like a holy crap moment on Saturday? Just like
I did.
Yeah, right.
So to give you my brief rundown is I was actually here at the house and then I get the notification. Basically, I listened to you through Spreaker, and got the notification. Fade to Black is live, and I'm like, what? It's Saturday night, man. What's going on? And that was my first dose of what was happening.
Oh, so you didn't know until the Fade to Black broadcast?
No.
Wow.
So then I had to go back. I had to go back and do some digging and do some research and catch up on Sunday morning and kind of move forward from there. And then it's kind of been nonstop since then. But man, it's been interesting. It's been fun keeping up with. Just listening to your previous call and some of the comments that you made, and then I still haven't finished Marshall's your whole show with Marshall. But I have listened to quite enough of it to know, and man, that man made you think a little bit about some of the stuff that I shared with you in the emails. That sometimes maybe you might want to think about being careful about some of this stuff. But it just we don't know what the road holds ahead of us. But I think more about I just think more about the past, whatever it is, going back to 2007 or whenever it was when Senator Reid, instituted the program. And I just think that we've never since 47, we've never we've never stopped following this stuff. We've never kept doing research. We've been in on it, all the time, I think. And, I still think there's a lot we don't know, but I think there's a lot we've learned. And it's really, really going to be interesting.
Yeah, to hear Jon Rappoport say tonight, Ben, for years, their position has been, since they officially closed down Blue Book, nothing to see here, move on. Right? That's it. That's the position.
Right. Yeah.
And to find out that it's exactly the opposite. It's like, and we knew it. And that was the other point that John brought up. Our community, we knew this.
Sure.
We knew that the government was all knee deep up into this and had plenty to hide and wasn't telling us the whole truth. Okay, so that part of it didn't shock us. And I think that was the part that probably we were most happy about. But on the flip side, it's the rest of the world, the lack of reaction, right? The lack of reaction. That's pretty astounding to me. Nothing out of the Vatican, nothing out of Israel, nothing from the Islamic community, any of the world's religions. Nobody has stepped up, the Dalai Lama, right? Nothing from anybody on the religious side. And is it because they have maybe a position, of so much to lose? Because that, the faithful, based on faith, and that side of it, do they start questioning what they have been told? Or is it that they don't care? Or is it that they are okay? I'm talking about the world's religion. That do you remember the Pope when he said, E.T. gets here, I'll baptize him, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll baptize them. God created them too. Yeah, no, just what you're saying there. I think, gosh, you can go, we could have, this is a whole nother show.
Yeah, totally.
You go back into religion. I mean, it's, and now church is basically just a business. Regardless of what denomination, I mean, it really is. But I think that you and I both know, with the Pope saying that, gosh, what was that, 10 years ago, or whenever it was. But I mean, they know. They hold so many secrets there,
right? And what do the churches around the world and around the United States, all those preachers and pastors and reverends and all that stuff, what do they talk about this Sunday?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's more of a, I would, and gosh, you have to know that I'm right here in Northeast Tennessee. We are firmly entrenched in the Bible Belt, and it's one way only. I mean, it's the straight and narrow path is what's preached around here, and it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. And I think you'll hear less until more is learned and more is discovered. It's going to be interesting. But I think you and I talked about this, I don't know, 2 years ago, maybe, I don't know. But I really think that this is just a theory of mine, that our technology is getting so close to exposing everything that our government is now in they're kind of they're called, they're handcuffed. They're like, okay, well, the Elon Musks of the world, they're going out into space, Richard Branson, any group that you want to name. And once we get out there, and once we're able to see what is out there and what's on the dark side of the moon, for example, or with what we're discovering now about the multiple planets within our own galaxy, we're going to get out there, and our private sector is going to see that, hey, we're not alone. And I think that our government is getting their hand is being forced to say, hey, we've got to do this. We've got to let our constituents know that we're not alone, and so let's do this, and here's a good way to kick it off.
Hey, Ben, what would it cost for me to get a little fade to black sticker on somebody's NASCAR?
hey, you just send me 5, and I'll just sneak through the pit road and slap them on there. We won't cost you a dime, buddy.
I mean, wouldn't that be cool? Now that's, you know what? Disclosure has arrived when we get a little Fade to Black sticker on somebody's car out there. I mean, what does it cost? Well, because you see the stickers all over the car, right? They get smaller and smaller and smaller, right?
Yeah.
Those little tiny ones. What does it cost for that? I mean, what does it cost?
Oh man, okay. So this is a true story. So I used to be a sports marketing director for a supermarket company here,
right?
And we worked with Richard Childress Racing, and we had. You will understand this, but a lot of your listeners won't. But the C post, which is the back behind the back window, let's say at that time it was a Chevrolet Monte Carlo.
Right.
But it's the little strip, and it was basically about the size of an 8.5.
Yeah, you have the A. Everybody, you have the A, B, and C pillar or post on the car.
Yeah, yeah. And our last year was it was $800,000 to do that.
What?
So now, if you divide that, no kidding, yeah. Yeah. But we got two appearances from Dale Earnhardt Sr.
Right.
And he did 2 television commercials for us a year, and then we had the sticker on his car
for $800,000.
For $800,000.
Did you get your money back?
And that was going back to 1999.
Oh
so
man!
So imagine now if you do the inflation and all that stuff.
I knew you were going to say something crazy like that. Well, you just confirmed it. But what about
it's true though? I mean, it's not crazy. I mean, that's legit.
What about getting a Fade to Black on one of the sections of Bristol Motor Speedway? What does that run?
That's just, you get me the supplies, man. We'll make it happen.
Oh man, don't mess with my head. That would be so cool. Just for one afternoon, we don't have to do the whole season. We could really do that. Like that. We could really do that.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on my first T-shirt, man.
Oh man, you're the best, Ben. Hey, give Merry Christmas to you and the family, and you guys just have an absolutely amazing weekend. We'll see you this weekend on Coast, but we'll see you on Tuesday on the show. Thank you so much, Ben.
All right, brother. Appreciate you, Jimmy. Just keep up the good work, and man, just can't wait to see what's going to happen.
And it's nuts, isn't it? Next time you call in, it's going to be, can you believe that this just happened? I mean, we can't go backwards, Ben. It's only forward from here out.
All right, brother. You have a good one.
And thank you so much. Ben Trout, everybody, from Bristol Motor Speedway. All right, let's stay on the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Jeff from Sacramento.
Hey, how are you?
Well, my graveyard shift got switched to swing, so I've been missing the show every night. But then when I come home, I listen to the podcast. I'm doing good, Jimmy. I've sure been missing the show, though, and listening every night. And I caught Saturday's big deal, and that was, God, but I didn't hear it until afterwards. I didn't know you were live and it was going on. But it was so exciting. And, it's a new job, so I still want to talk about work, and of course I can't because they'll fire me. They'll think I'm a weirdo.
Right.
But I told some of my friends about what had happened, and a couple were like, "Oh, really?" And it's so frustrating because they're like, "Oh, well, I didn't see it on the mainstream news," and they just want to ridicule you and they laugh at you, and I'm like. So I tried not to get mad. I just said, yeah, keep laughing. I just hope when it all comes out, you don't have a psychotic break.
So check this out. Philip Chuck, our good friend from Hong Kong, who's been on the show and who we love, is tweeting right now. And he just tweeted, exciting week for the disclosure. This is just crazy. Hong Kong side news have coverage as well. So that's coming in from Hong Kong right there from Philip. And
excellent.
Yeah, isn't that just absolutely amazing? And to hear from Philip, because he's got his news. I mean, he's got his show out there too as well, MJ13. And he's been pushing this for a long time, and he's a show host. But, the Chinese side of things, he says is pretty open over there.
They're way more into it.
But that's at the street level, but to have it covered on the news, and this being a Pentagon story, this is great. And
yeah.
So, what do you think is next, though?
Oh, well, they're getting ready for something, or they wouldn't have allowed this. I mean, they've covered up all these years, so I'm hoping what's next is starting to release the technology. But I really hope so. But because we need it so badly. But I think they're slowly still trying to prepare everyone's psyche. Maybe more video footage being released to kind of gently let people keep seeing official Pentagon, more videos of UFOs to kind of drip a little bit.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
What do you think?
No,
I
think they're. I'm going to go against what Jon Rappoport said earlier. My take is they're trying to get out in front of it. Whenever there's bad news for Washington, right? Whenever there's bad news, and they're like, okay, man, we got to get out in front of this thing. We've got to try to gain control. We've got to I think that's what's going on. There's something else behind this piece of news. There's another whistleblower. There is something else that's about to come out. There's another piece of footage. Maybe Tom DeLonge is sitting on more video. He says that he is, that he's getting ready to release. Maybe there's that. Maybe there's something outside. It could be outside of Tom DeLonge. Maybe it's just something that is that Washington is aware about, that the Pentagon is aware about, but that is getting ready to break. But we're also thinking about the United States. What if it's Russia? What if it's China? What if it's France? What if it's Argentina, Brazil? What if it's another country, Japan, another country that is sitting on something, or somebody inside of that country that, and it could be that. I'll give you another example. We've got the Nazca mummies, right? And that is worldwide right now. And that DNA is getting ready to blow out. And what if that is what it, I don't know. And
there's so many different elements out there right now.
There is. And so now with this piece, right, this week with DeLonge and To the Stars and the Pentagon, and then this is immediately backed up with something like Nazca, and then there's another piece, that pretty much settles everything. We always knew that we were not alone in the universe, and so now the world knows. So the information is going to come out, and I often thought that once that the dike, your finger in the dike, you're controlling it until it just blows, and then when it does, boom, and I think Deb, that's exactly what we're dealing with, and that's.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think that's what we're dealing with right now. We can't go backwards.
Another quick note: do you ever watch the White House press briefings daily?
I try not to, but I do.
Okay. Because Sarah Sanders the other day, I think it was yesterday, they're asking her, the whole press corps is laughing. Oh, we want to ask about UFOs, and it shows they're all out there laughing. And all of a sudden, when the one reporter asked, his phone started going crazy and freaking out, and she's like, uh-oh, and it was they're all laughing like it's a big joke. And they're like, does the president believe in blah, 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 blah? And she's like, well, I haven't talked to him about it. And she just sidestepped the whole topic. Yep. And it's like, so if the White House and the press, she's either doing it deliberately, what's she hiding, or I don't know. That was kind of weird. Usually she tries to directly address stuff.
I don't think
she just totally sidestepped the whole thing.
I think she's a professional sidestepper. I don't think she's answered a question directly yet. As not doing anything against Sarah, all of those press dudes out of the White House have done the dance. Okay, it doesn't matter what the administration is, doesn't matter who it is. Answering a question directly, it never happens. They come out, they make a statement. Okay, that's one thing. But when they do the follow-up with all the questions, you've never gotten a direct answer out of anybody ever. And that's just the way it is. Listen, have a great weekend. Yeah. I got to get to Merry Christmas and all of that happy stuff.
Merry Christmas to you, Jimmy.
I got to get to a commercial, but it was great hearing from you. All right? And now that you're doing Graveyard, don't be a stranger.
Yeah, well, I'm swing, but I'll definitely. I'm still listening every night. So, Merry Christmas, Jimmy, to you and Rita and the girls.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Merry Christmas. Bye-bye. You got it. All right. This is Fade to Black. If you're on hold, stay right there. And I'll be right back. I'm trying to figure out. I've got these automatic mice in here. It's funny how I got to switch between computers. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Fadernight, Thursday night, open lines all night long. More of your phone calls are next. Stay with us.
Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
So you went to dinner last night, you had your favorite pasta. Ugh. Or maybe you had a heavy, spicy meal and it left you. Ugh. GetTheTea.com. Maybe you mowed down a huge steak and your plumbing is all plugged. Ugh. GetTheTea.com. Our super strength tea will take care of your occasional. Ugh. It's all organic and non-GMO. Get rid of ugh. We have so many great supplements, but our super tea is number one. GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hey, can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at natureyouth.com. natureyouth.com. The holidays are coming. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at natureyouth.com. That's natureyouth.com.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Thursday night, Fadernights. 6 days into this disclosure thing. Excuse me, man. I've got something in my throat. And we will be continuing all of this tomorrow night on Coast to Coast and Saturday, too, as well. Then we roll around and head into the holidays Sunday and Monday. We'll be back on Tuesday here on Fade to Black. Let's stay on the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy. This is Olivia. How are you?
Hi, Olivia. How are you?
I'm good. I was calling to wish you and Rita and your family a very Merry Christmas.
Right back to you, Olivia.
Appreciate it. I was very interested in the guest you had yesterday or last night.
Yeah, Marshall. Marshall Summers.
That was that was an interesting take on things.
It was just that. I love it. I want to hear your take on it, but I love it when when I learn something, and if I learn something, that means everybody else is learning right along with me, and having a fresh take and a fresh view and insight is great. I really enjoyed that conversation with him. Yeah,
it was deep. It got deep. My brain was hurting a little bit just listening to him. But it's true that we always want to wish for the good stuff and be positive. That sometimes we kind of forget to take that step back a little bit, and I get that. I get where he was coming from.
Yeah, and there's something else here, which is Arthur C. Clarke, his childhood's end, right? Now, have you read it, or did you see the movie?
No, I did not.
Okay. Well, and by the way, you've got a lot of wind and stuff in the background, Olivia. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's okay. It's just really loud. But I'll end with that, and I do want to say Merry Christmas, okay? Have a great, safe weekend. We'll see you, the next couple of days on Coast, but then Tuesday back here on Fade to Black.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you, Olivia. Childhood's End came to mind in my conversation last night with Marshall Summers, and I wanted to have the opportunity to get back to that before I get to the phone calls, which is, and I do see Steve from Bluefield, man. I just lost you, so get back in here. We have to end our conversation from last night. So I'll put you to the front of the line. Steve, is Childhood's End. Now, this is the thing with Childhood's End. The E.T., when he shows up here, looks like the devil, right? Like Satan, horns, and he's got to hide behind this glass, and he can't show himself, and that, well, it's a minor part of the story. It's a major, and anyway, the point is, all of humanity gets taken care of. You don't have to work anymore. You don't have to do anything, and life is good, and diseases, and the children are involved. All, I'm not going to, get into that part of it. But the other part of the story is that they are here to just blow up the planet. And you get to the end of the story, and you see this event happen, and it's just poof, gone. It's a pretty trippy story. The years of, I would almost say goodness, but boredom too as well. Nobody's got anything left to do. Everything is perfect. So, but that I kept thinking about Childhood's End, and I couldn't stop it. I really, really, really couldn't stop it. Okay. Steve from Bluefield. Steve, what's up, my brother?
Hello, Mr. Jimmy Church.
How you feeling today? You still uppity?
Oh, yes.
You're still uppity?
Still uppity, yes, sir.
What do you think is now this? Oh, Man, what is that, a pit bull?
Did you hear my little pup? No, I got a little puppy that we got, and he thinks he's a pit bull, and he weighs about all of 6 pounds.
Oh man! So tomorrow night, it's going to continue on the mainstream media, on the outlets. The interviews are going to continue all the way through Friday night. Tomorrow night's going to be day 7. I don't know what's going to go into the weekend with the mainstream media, or how things are going to get handled on Monday, or if there's going to be some other news that will be continuing on this subject. But I did not expect things to go 7 days in a row like this. Not front page, not front and center, and worldwide like it is. I thought it was going to come and go. You know, the mainstream media has a way of, it's a 24-hour, 24-minute news cycle. You know, and the news to have this tax thing go down this week, and the stuff with Jerusalem and the embassy and the United Nations, and certainly North Korea is there. All of these things were overshadowed this week by, of all things, all the sexual allegations. You know, all of these things were all overshadowed by the UFO question, and that was pretty amazing. So, do you think it's going to continue?
Well, I like to hope that it continues. You know, it hopefully something big doesn't happen like happened after the first disclosure event that Stephen Greer pulled off with 9/11. You know, pray to God something like that doesn't happen again. But hopefully this will keep rolling on, and and that the mainstream media gets more people, on, more intellectual people on to speak about the subject, and
right.
We get more substance to the subject.
Right.
That we really get to have people like have you on Fox, Jimmy, or and not just Neil deGrasse Tyson, people that have openly not really embraced the subject, the subject of UFOs.
Right. Well, I don't need to. I hear what you're saying there, but I don't need to. They don't need my comments there. This is, but this is definitely.
I can see Jimmy on Fox.
Yeah.
Just wearing them out.
Oh man, Tucker Carlson would not want to deal with me. I can tell you that. But I have my own. I have my own platforms. I speak about this every night on Fade to Black, and I'm able to go on Coast a couple times a month. Every couple of weeks, and continue that there. So, I have my own platforms, and I'm able to take advantage.
Right, but I would like to see more people out of our community that could have the platform, of tens of millions of viewers and listeners.
Yeah. Well, they did have James.
To the subject.
They did have James Fox on CNN this week, and that was pretty cool. And I thought that was a viewpoint, from our community to go in there. He's so well spoken. He's been doing this for a long time. His films have all been great, and he's got a new film coming out. So good for him, and he was able to go up and represent, and I felt pretty good about that. Well, listen, Steve, I know it's late out there. Just Merry Christmas to you and your family. Thank you so much.
To you too, Jimmy.
And this was the greatest Christmas present that our community could ask for, and we got it. Thank you so much, Steve.
We got it, brother.
We'll see you this weekend on Coast, and, of course, on Tuesday after the holidays right here on Fade to Black. Thank you so much, my friend, and Merry Christmas.
Jimmy, brother, as always. Thanks for the time.
You're the best. Steve from Bluefield. Oh, man. A voice of reason right there. Man. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Is this Scott?
Buddy, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you. How you doing?
I am as sick as a dog, but I'm trying to turn the leaves over.
There you go, man. I haven't talked
my
to you.
daughter
Man.
got.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's been a while. My daughter got sick. My wife got sick, and of course they passed it to me, the guy who works 16 hours a day.
Well, that's why you got it. But man, you need to get yourself some Life Change tea and new pharma products in your life. You'll never get sick again.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to convince my wife, and she's worried about the caffeine. But I got to talk to this guy. So maybe when I get down to the expo, I'll talk to your buddy and see if we can get something like that.
There's no caffeine in this stuff. What are you talking about?
Oh, I thought he said there was like light caffeine or something because I've got what they call I got anxiety attacks, and caffeine is like no deal for me.
Oh, that part I don't know. I really don't. I don't know about that. But the foundation, I don't think there's any caffeine in that from New Pharma. You need to take that. You need moringa. There's no caffeine in moringa. The pine bark, you need that. You need the allicin. You need the coral C. That's vitamin C products, so there's no caffeine there. The GI Joy, right? You need that, and of course the tea, which is a cleansing product. So I don't know. I don't know about the caffeine side. I don't get the jitters from it. Well, then again,
yeah. I mean, if it doesn't, I'll take it all day long and all night long because that would help me out a lot. I'm always stressed out over here.
So, how are you feeling about this Disclosure Week?
You know, Jimmy, disclosure stuff was like I wanted to talk to you about this. You know, you and I come around to the same area, and you know when you're a little kid, Christmas comes around and they tell you Santa Claus is going to bring you this, Santa Claus is going to bring you that. All of a sudden, one day you wake up and they say Santa Claus isn't real. And you're looking at your parents like, what do you mean? Why did you tell me that then?
Right.
And then now all of a sudden they're saying UFOs don't exist, UFOs don't exist. And now they're saying, okay, now UFOs exist. What did you tell us that for?
Right.
It's like, it's confusing for me. So last night's guest put this on the line for me. As I was growing up, I'm 55 years old, and I thought about this stuff forever, day and day, night. I'd sit around with my brother at night in our bunks. We talked about it all the time. But Marshall really put me out into outer space. And Jimmy, what he said to me really nailed this on the head. Now, I made some quotes and wrote it down. He said, no race is coming here to help us. They're coming here for their own purposes. Any race coming here to interfere with human affairs is doing this for their own reason and purposes. It is in their behavior is what gives them away. And we have a real problem with that, Jimmy. We humans have something that they want, and they've been keeping it secret from us, and they're going to do anything they can to keep it secret from us until they get what they want. And I'm not sure what that is.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think any. Well, there's a lot of water here. It's the right temperature, and all of that. He also said this though, that because of bacteria and the environment here, that they can't walk around, right? They can't live here, I guess without spacesuits or something. And that,
very interesting.
Yeah, and that we would be the ones still, being the caretakers of the planet. And again, it's just one of those things where you have to look at all of the options. And that certainly is another viewpoint that needs to be considered. Go back to, Scott, what Giorgio Tsoukalos said on this show. Now, Giorgio has told me to my face, dude, I don't study UFOs. Okay? Ancient aliens and archaeology and the past and rocks and megaliths and the pyramids and Pumapunku, that's his deal. But Roswell, he doesn't know anything about Roswell. He doesn't know anything about Malmstrom. He doesn't know anything about Rendlesham. He doesn't study that stuff. That's not what he does. Okay, point accepted. But there's one thing that he said on this show that I have quoted him on and repeated over and over again. When E.T. lands and he steps off that ship, we are going to find out that all of us were wrong. All of us. Yeah. All of us. No matter what it is, when he tells us, when E.T. starts spilling the beans, we're going to find out that we were all wrong. And that's the truth. That's why listening to everybody's take, whether it's David Sereda or Marshall Summers or Stanton Friedman or Travis Walton or John Burroughs, I can go on and on and on. James Gilliland, I can go on and on. You throw all Linda Moulton Howe. I can continue. Stephen Greer, Stephen Bassett. We can go on and on and on. Everybody has got their own vibe, their own take, their own research, their own witnesses, their own contact, right? Now, you know, they're all quite possibly going to be wrong. When somebody that has had the most direct contact, which is Travis, and I have talked, well, not only on this show, but I have talked personally alone with Travis, right? Had breakfast, had lunch with him, right? Looked at him and talked to him about this. And I'm telling you that he doesn't fully understand what happened to him and what the reasons why. He looks back at it after 40 years and says, okay, and now I feel this is I feel this, that they injured me and they tried to save my life. And okay, but it's not like he has the keys to the universe now, that he has the understanding of everything. And he's somebody that got abducted for 5 days, right? Right?
Yeah.
And made direct contact and communicated with and saw things that none of us have. Well, a lot of us haven't.
Right.
And I'm not so sure that he has any more answers than anybody else. And that's my take. That's my take.
It's interesting. My dad had called you, and my mom and dad had gone through that thing that they went through in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And right when disclosure came out, he called me up and he goes, why wouldn't they disclose the Roswell thing? Why didn't they ever talk about that? Why all this other stuff, but not the Roswell incident?
Right.
I said, I don't know. The next time I talk to Jimmy, I'll ask him.
Well, I think that could be something else that happens. Are they going to start to address a few specific things like Malmstrom? Will they, go back to Roswell? Will they talk about Rendlesham, Travis Walton, Betty and Barney Hill? Let's go back to Maury Island, right? Will they go back that far and address these things? How about the Rhodes photographs? My favorite photographs. What about the Rhodes photographs from Phoenix in 1947, right before Roswell?
Interesting.
Will they address all of these very important cases? Cattle mutilations. Will they go back and start to talk about these things? I don't know. What about the? I'll tell you something else. The Alaskan Airlines or Japan Airlines, I forget, over Alaska.
Oh yeah.
That huge walnut-shaped, that was like a mile across, that craft. And they've got, the radar recordings of that incident. So will they go and address? I don't know. I really don't. This is the other thing, though. And Scott, let me say Merry Christmas. I've got like 10 calls on
Merry
hold.
Christmas to you too, sir.
Thank you so much. And I'll see you this weekend on Coast, of course, and I'll see you on Tuesday. But we have a few other things that are going on, too, as well. Just have a great Merry Christmas to you and your family.
You too, my friend, and you take care of yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much, Scott. And
bye now.
Absolutely. You know what? I've just got a minute left here. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
This is Rob in Dayton, Ohio.
Hey, Rob in Dayton, Ohio. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, sir.
What's on your mind?
You had mentioned Childhood's End, and I will tell you, I didn't see the movie, but I did read the book, and I can tell you that is the most terrifying book
I know, right?
that I have ever read.
1953, I think that was written. 1953.
Right. I've read some of Whitley Strieber's books,
right.
And some other books that that deal with alien subjects. And, Childhood End was absolutely the most terrifying book that I had ever read. And it doesn't hit you till right at the end.
I know. You know what? Go, if you can, I'm sure it's on Netflix or Amazon. I think it's 3 parts, 1, 2, and 3. It's a miniseries. Go and watch it. It is spot on with the book, but you get the visual side of it, and it's all there. Nothing is held back, and it's really, really well done. I've read the book. To me, I remember it being very short, but was it like a short story? I don't know, but I know that I read the book very quickly, and I've read it a few times. But when I saw the movie, and Rita and I were watching it together, she's like, "Is this just like the book?" I'm like, "It is just. This is what the book is about." And
I'm looking at the book right now. It's only about 200 pages.
Yeah, 200 pages. That sounds about right. But when Marshall was going through this yesterday, I just kept having these childhood's end flashbacks. The warning of childhood's end. And just to give you another perspective on the possibility of ET contact, what it could really mean, that's what that's there for, and it's there to, make sure that we apply caution to any contact that we do make.
Right. Well, we can't let our wants and desires override our critical thinking when it comes to any potential contact that happens. Everybody wants for the world to be, or the universe to be peaceful, and there be nice, loving aliens everywhere. And I just don't think that we can take that risk. Right. We have to apply intelligence.
Well, what do you think about this last, 6 days? It's been fun, but, a little scary at the same time.
I think it is, as you have mentioned, it's kind of damage control for other stuff that's coming up. It's trying to get out ahead of the story. And your last caller asked why don't they disclose Roswell? And I think because if they disclose Roswell, that's so far back, there'd be so much egg on their face for not talking about it since then, that they have to go back to something that's recent.
Yeah, I have said so much with the guests, and I hate it when I say I've said so many times, but it's really true. And that is, once you've taken it to one level, then that means everything else was a lie, and we have been lied to. So they would have to sit back and give an excuse for thousands of things that they have done and lied about. And that's really the problem here, I would think. I don't know. Do they say we've only had contact since 2004, since this video was made? Or does this go back to Roswell and before that, and that they've known about this contact this entire time? That's,
I think it's going to start out with more recent events.
Yeah, you may be right.
And then it's going to take 20 to 30 years for everything to come out, especially the longer-term stuff.
So what's your name?
Rob.
Rob, thank you for the phone call, man. And you're absolutely right. But more importantly, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. And that will conclude another Fadernight here on Fade to Black. Just amazing phone calls tonight. I got to thank James Gilliland, too, as well, for coming in. And, of course, Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom. This is the best night of the week for me. There is nothing like Thursdays here on Fade to Black. And tomorrow night I'll be over on Coast to Coast. My guest will be Chance Gardner from Australia, director of Magical Egypt, Series 1 and 2, followed by Open Lines all night long. And then Saturday over on Coast, David Icke and David Wilcock. Fade to Black's executive producers, Rita Kamarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster, Drew the Geek. Music Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. Thank you to Jon Rappoport and everybody that called and tweeted tonight. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2017 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll see you everybody tomorrow night on Coast to Coast. Until then, be safe. Merry Christmas. Go Beckley Tappy.